Hello everyone, welcome back to Nostalgia Bait. I'm your host this week, Cooper Britton, and I'm joined with my co-host. Say hello, George.
Oh, right, I thought you were going to say my name. No, I'm just no one. My name's George Sheard, I'm a co-host on here as well. Hello, welcome.
And this week we have a very, very, very special episode that I'm very, very, very excited to be doing. Because we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's.
I'm not joining in.
You don't have to. I'm happy.
Oh,
I'm
man.
happy just winging it with my Jack Black impression.
Yeah, I love that.
We are here talking about Freddy's of the Five Nights.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Is this where you wanna be? I just don't get it.
Is that Freddy Fazbear?
Guys, is that Freddy Fazbear?
Freddy Fazbear.
Right, this has already devolved. For a minute in, this is devolved. So it's just we can wait a little bit longer.
It's fine.
Before we
get all of the Five Nights at Freddy's memes out in the first minute and a half.
No,
done, sorted.
No,
we
we're
can actually have a normal conversation.
So we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's today. We both have enjoyed this game. Not like I don't think we're active fans of it like now in terms of the newer stuff.
No,
but we grew up with this shit, and we were fans of it from the good old days of Five Nights at Freddy's, I suppose.
Yeah, back in the good old days, back in its prime.
Yeah, back when
literally before it fell off. No, I'm joking.
No, I mean
because we saw the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. It didn't fall off.
No,
we saw the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was peak. So
yeah,
the game's alive and well.
This comes off the back of
alive
that,
and well.
It? This comes off the back of that, where it's sort of when we were growing up, we watched the Five Nights at Freddy's. We played the Five Nights at Freddy's games, loved them, games, bonded over that. And when the film was announced, we always said that we were going to go and watch this. And obviously, life goes on. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie got delayed like indefinitely almost.
It got cancelled.
It got cancelled many times.
Got revived.
New directors, new whatever, and then eventually came out, and it was just sort of a no-brainer really. We were like, yeah, let's go and see it. We said we would when we were younger, so let's go and watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie in cinema, and it was a great experience.
Full circle.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a very good night when we went to see it. Yeah,
it was.
Honestly, I've not watched it since we watched it, but in my mind, I absolutely loved it. Genuinely,
no, I don't think even I
to this day, I'm like,
to watch it again until the sequel comes out. But they're making a sequel.
Yeah, probably.
So that's great.
Probably when I'll do it. Yeah.
People are already like trying to like leak stuff, which I think is interesting. I've already seen like TikToks where it's like people are going like, yeah, but it's not. I don't think they're starting to film it yet. So people are like putting stuff on TikTok and it's like with a Chica and with a Bonnie, and I'm like, yeah, that's not how that is. Like whatever, that's not real.
There's not a chance. No. I think the second one will be incredible, but the first movie, I really enjoyed the movie. Genuinely,
the film was great.
I thought it was.
It's not objectively as a film. Are we rating it as a film, or are we rating it as a Star Wars film? How good it is?
I think you've got to look at it as both, don't you? It's not a very good Star Wars movie.
No, it's not a really good Star Wars movie.
I think you've got to look at. I think as fans, I think I think if you used to go into the movie,
you can't watch the Five Nights
at
Freddy's movie as someone who's never played the games or knows nothing about it. You can in theory, but you will not enjoy it as much. It's made for fans, and because there is such a strong fan base across the world, there's always going to be people who it will be in the market for.
In theory, you could watch it.
A theory, sorry.
Just a theory.
I didn't realise you were setting up
a theory.
I didn't know you were setting up a joke. I was trying to jump on that. Fuck. Oh man, I feel bad now. I feel bad.
Unbelievable.
Still your thunder. You'll get to do it at some point. I'm sure you'll catch me off guard.
I will. I'll get a theory joke in there somewhere.
A theory.
You can't do a Five Nights at Freddy's episode and not. Yes, a theory. I do say. You can't talk about Five Nights at Freddy's and not talk about the pioneer of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Matt Pat. Of course. God rest his soul. Not dead. But...
God rest his soul. Not dead, but retired, which he deserves.
He does deserve a hearty retirement. No one deserves to go through that much Five Nights at Freddy's lore. It's one of those franchises, isn't it?
That's why
we bonded over it quite a lot. What's your earliest memory of this franchise when we started sort of chatting on about it? Because I think I told you... I think I even remember this as well, vaguely.
I remember being on Xbox Live, probably playing Minecraft, and you telling me about this new horror game coming out, and you...
Yeah.
And you mentioned being like, there's there's this character in it called Foxy, and he like sprints at you and like screams at you, and you were like, you've got to look at it on YouTube, like it's
scary.
It's scary, and that's what my earliest memory of it is.
Yeah, I think we were playing Minecraft because I remember sitting playing Minecraft and talking to you about it. You know, I'd watched a couple of YouTube playthroughs of this new horror game at the time. It was 2014, end of 2014. I would have been 13 years of age. Yeah. Yeah, it's 10 years old this year, Five Nights at Freddy's.
The first one, wow.
Yeah, 10 years old this year, which is really scary.
How many games have we had in 10 years? That's crazy,
Too many. I mean, it was more the first couple years.
Yeah.
In 2 years, we had like 4.
Was the first 4 in 2 years?
Well, I remember, see, this is where
FNAF 1 and 2 were very close.
Five Nights at Freddy's 1 was August, I think. And then FNAF 2 was November 2014. So FNAF 2 is also 10 years old this year. And then
FNAF 2 is the one that I have the most memories with, and the one that it's still to this day my favourite. I know you always prefer the first one, don't you?
Well, I played them all on Twitch recently. All the mainline ones. I didn't play Still Location. I might at some point, but I played.
Still Location was good.
I played Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, 3, and 4 over on Twitch. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people. I had a good time with that. A lot of firsts for me. I think because it's one of those games that I played a little bit as a kid, but mostly watched. I didn't really play as much of, even though I owned the games. I was never very good at them.
FNAF 2 I did. I played a lot.
Yeah, I didn't play that very
much.
Yeah.
When I finished on my... I might have finished... I mustn't have finished FNAF 1. That was a hard game.
The thing is, it's the thing on the live stream, because there's so many techniques and ways to do it now, I managed to complete 420 mode in like 3 attempts.
That's impressive.
Which is mad.
The 420.
But I was quite emotional after that when I played that on Twitch, because I did that, obviously following like advice of what was available then, because when the game came out, you didn't know all the techniques and stuff. It's like you could do this, and that would count as checking on
only
Foxy
look at this place and
It's sort of you could do things where it's like you wouldn't have to look at Pirate Cove to keep Foxy in the Pirates Cove, whatever. But I got quite emotional after playing that. I got quite emotional after finishing it, because it's something that I'd always seen as like this impossible goal for Five Nights at Freddy's players when I was a kid. And I never cared. I never tried to do it, obviously. Like, I never really give it that much effort. But playing it on Twitch and then coming back to it and finishing the hardest difficulty of that first game in like 3 goes was such a weird sense of achievement that I never thought I wanted or needed in life. But it fucking hit, you know?
Yeah, I have that with a lot of games as well, like games that you play when I'm younger, and you'll go back. You remember being impossible when you were a kid, and then you go back and you're like, this is the easiest shit in the world. Like, and you're like, oh my god, I've actually done it properly.
Now, that being said, Five Nights at Freddy's is not an easy fucking game. And neither are the rest of them. No. I couldn't finish the other 3. No. And I tried.
Did you not?
I couldn't. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was too difficult. There was too many things going on. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is a cheat of a game.
I was in your stream for Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
I was not happy.
I was in your stream for that.
I was not happy with that.
So funny.
I was not happy at all.
That was
and Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
FNAF 4.
Okay. That was okay.
4, I only played for the first. I played for the first time when we went to see the movie.
Yeah, played as a stretch.
That's a scary game.
Played as a stretch.
It's a scare. I do not.
You turned that one off, didn't you? You didn't play that one properly. You refused.
I struggle with horror stuff anyway. So shock horror. I don't know how I enjoyed the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 especially was like, because I get really suspense kills me.
Suspense is that the boss the killer, isn't it?
I get really anxious.
Have you ever seen the Blair Witch Project?
I get really anxious, and of course I've not seen the Blair Witch Project.
That is your nightmare of a film.
I think Five Nights at Freddy's was...
I'm telling you now.
Oh, I know for a fact it was.
Because that entire film is suspense.
Yeah. Well, The Walking Dead used to kill me.
Oh, however.
That's how bad. And The Walking Dead's not scary. The Walking Dead's not scary. No. It has its suspenseful moments. The suspenseful moments in Walking Dead used to kill me. Like, I used to be hiding behind pillows.
That's good, though. That's what you want TV and film to do to you. No. In a way.
Yeah.
That's the point.
This is the thing. I understand
I get scared at horror. I get scared at horror. I also love horror. And I love that I can watch horror films and get that sort of reaction off it. I've always described this. This is I'm not going to stray too far off topic 10 minutes in, but I will just sort of make this point. I've been talking about this recently. It's like I'm sick of films that are such just wishy-washy, kind of just flow over you, like Netflix original, Marvel Studios bollocks. I want a feel when I watch a film. I want to feel a physical reaction to that. Right? I want to be nervous. I want to be scared. I want to be on the edge of my seat. I want goosebumps. I want to cry. I want to get emotional. I want any physical embodied reaction to anything I watch. Otherwise, it doesn't feel like it's worth my time. Right? I love films that do that, and it could be anything. Horror is probably why I like horror so much. Not because I like jump scares. I think that's cheating. But I like films that are scary without the need for jump scares. Blair Witch Project is a great one because that entire thing is the suspense of a jump scare happening that never ends up coming. But the film is scary to watch. We're watching that together at some point. We'll do a commentary track on the podcast at some point. Blair Witch Project. That'd be great. Just throwing that on you now.
It'll be me screaming for like 2 hours.
Why would you be screaming? There's nothing scary. It's just suspense.
I'll be me being like, no, I can't do it. I hate. The suspense genuinely kills me.
But I think that's better
so
than like a boring film. I'd rather like, even though I get scared with it, I'd rather feel scared and that relief after and be like, oh my god,
I'm happy
what a film.
I'm happy to sacrifice that emotion to watch any other movie with any other emotion.
Have you seen many horror films?
No, I've seen the new version of Woman in Black, Five Freddy's. That's it.
Right,
literally.
But you've seen classic.
Never seen The Shining.
Oh
no, never. You know this. I don't watch horror films. If you were to put 5 films in front of me, I would.
Why have you not seen The Shining?
I would pick all of those. If you put 5 films in front of me and one of them was horror, I would pick the other 4 films 3 times over before I pick the horror movie.
What if it's a good
I
horror?
I don't care. It's just not.
You should watch The
There's
Lighthouse.
just other films that I
scary.
prefer. I didn't know that was a horror film.
It's not.
It counts
really.
a horror film.
It kind
Is
of
it a suspense film?
It has suspenseful stuff in it, but it's sort of equally horror that it is comedy, I'd say.
Yeah, it's the suspense in anything. Like when I said Walking Dead. Walking Dead's not scary at all.
It's the balloon theory, isn't it? You've got a balloon and a needle, and you're sort of scratching it.
Yeah, it's
the
not
suspense
knowing
of something going to happen.
Yeah, it's the not if you and it just completely defeats the point of any horror film. If you tell me, oh, in a minute's time someone's going to jump out or this is going to happen, I would be completely fine.
Oh.
But it's the unknowing. It's once I get through it once, I'd be fine. It's
really,
but I don't like not knowing. It's the suspense of not knowing what's going to come. Like
I think it's worse
there is potentially going to be something coming out.
I think it's worse when you
nasty because I can prepare myself for it, and it's not suspenseful at that point.
I was going to make a point that I didn't like, where it was like, this is also a very separate point, but it's worth telling. When I got my eyes tested at Vision Express,
what?
Seriously, right?
I think I know what you're about to say here.
They put me in this machine, and they were like, "This is insane." I mean, tell me what you think about this. I don't know whether this is insane or it's just me being, weird. But they put your eyes in these goggles, right? And they're like, keep your eyes as open as possible and focus on the dot or the hot air balloon. For some reason, it was one or the other. There was nothing else, just a hot air balloon or a dot.
Or a dot.
And they go, and what they said was, they were like, it's sometime in the next minute, I'm going to blow air into your eyes, or I'm going to fire something into your eye. I think it was something along the lines of that. And I just thought, what's the point in telling me that? I mean, I get why they tell you it, but now I'm like, I can't keep my eyes open knowing that something's going to go into it. I can't do that. It's the knowledge of knowing that's going to happen, but not knowing exactly when.
You're not the only person I've heard that from. I've heard multiple people say that when that's happened to them, they're
weird.
like, yeah.
They treat it so normally, but
there must be a reason for it.
But why don't they just count it down so you can have your eyes open and ready? If I'm like,
because it might be like isn't it like a reactional thing, or to like see how your eyes react to something? Or
but my eyes were reacting anyway because they were going
yeah.
like, oh, at some point in the next few seconds, I'm going to blast you in the fucking face. So now I'm like wincing, like, oh, when's it going to happen? And then it happens, and I'm like, and then they're like, oh, you had your eyes closed. I'm like, yeah, because you fucking told me you're going to blast something into my face.
So that means in another minute we're going to blast something else. Going to fire something else into your eyes in the next minute because you've had your eyes closed.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It's going to happen again. It's like, just keep staring at that hot air balloon. I'm like, I don't trust this hot air balloon. Anyway.
Yeah, the suspense kills me. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie wasn't that bad for suspense. There's some points where it was suspenseful. I don't think the
Five Nights at Freddy's movie was that scary, though.
Nah, not really.
I was expecting it to be
scared.
I would sort of incline Five Nights at Freddy's the movie closer to something like Spider-Man than I would like a horror film. Do you know what I mean? Where it's kind of like it's like familiar territory, and it's things you recognise, and it's you going, "Oh my god, they did that," opposed to it being.
They could have
like,
ramped
scary.
the horror up a little bit, but I was expecting it to be scary, and I'd like emotionally prepared myself for it.
I quite like the story, and I quite like what they did with it, and it's
I really
subverted
enjoyed
expectations.
the story,
But I do think that the horror could have been ramped up, and I hope they take notes on that for the sequel and make the horror a little bit more of a focus. Because it's a horror game built on suspense and sound and noise and very simple graphics. Like, they need to sort of play with that, you know, and sound is a very big thing for the Five Nights at Freddy's games. There's this phenomenal video on YouTube which explores the sound of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. If you've not watched it, you should. It's brilliant. I've watched it many times because it's a really fascinating video, but it's basically someone who goes through all of the game files, and it's got a wonderful like animated video. It's a really nice to look at video. It's not just someone with their like home screen recorder on like going through the files. But they basically discuss how the sounds and use of noise in the original Five Nights at Freddy's game is a perfect combination for this sort of horror. It's not. I think that's why it worked. It's not because of the gameplay, because the gameplay is quite basic. It's the sound design and the animatronic design. There's something appealing about that weird combination, right place, right time, that just worked for a lot of people. You know,
I don't know what it was about it that got me. I think this, to be fair, I know exactly what it was. The story. I still, to this day, adore the story.
But the story wasn't there from the first one.
No, that's the thing.
But I think it was the theorising, though, wasn't it? I
Yeah.
think that's the thing that grabs you
Yeah.
in. It's like, if it's trying too hard, it knocks you out, right? What's that whole thing with the Hello Neighbour game? Do you remember this? Do you remember that horror game, Hello Neighbour?
No.
No, there's this horror game called Hello Neighbour where there's this guy sort of running around. He's got like a mustache, and you have to go into this guy's house.
Oh! I
Yeah.
do, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the creators of that kept like tagging like MatPat on Twitter, being like, "Oh, MatPat would be very interested in what we have to show here." It's like they're trying too hard to create viral talk about their game.
Yeah.
Whereas Five Nights at Freddy's wasn't trying to do that; it was just trying to be interesting and different. And I like the fact that in that you get given so little, but so many intriguing elements. Like when you got one of those mini games in FNAF 2, you sort of felt like you discovered something that no one else had discovered, and you're like, "Oh shit!" Like we have to.
Purple guy being introduced.
Yeah, and then you sort of like you take these things and run with it. And obviously, I don't think the story was planned out from step one. It certainly wasn't, but
No, not a chance.
it's cool that you can see the thread coming through.
Yeah. I think the theory. I know, based on when I was a kid, and I used to do theories on plenty of video game storylines. The Five Nights at Freddy's storyline is definitely the theorizing, and probably MatPat Game 3 played a massive part in it.
Yeah.
And that's probably what got me so deep into it. Like I think Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is probably the one, because I feel like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is when the story really starts to come into it with the mini games.
Yeah, definitely. They introduce it in FNAF 2 as like an Easter egg, as was in FNAF 1 as well. It's like a very rare chance of it happening, and if it happens, it's cool.
Was there many games in FNAF 1? I don't remember.
No, there's not. But in FNAF 1, they change some of the backgrounds on the cameras very rarely, so it has like the newspaper clipping of the kids being stuffed in the suits.
Yes,
that was that was like a rare screen. But in FNAF 2, the rare chances would be the mini games themselves, and then in FNAF 3 they sort of ramped it up. It was part of the actual story of the game.
Every night, wasn't it?
FNAF 3 was more story than it was gameplay.
Yeah,
and FNAF 4 was just a mix of both, really. I think that
Sister Location was all story as well.
Oh yeah,
Sister Location was
story,
and I like that.
They got to a point where it was all story, but I think because at that point it became too confusing. Is that the passion?
Yeah.
Kinda, for me anyway, I sort of lost interest around.
I think
Sister Location.
I think did Sister Location come out after FNAF 4? So is it 1, 2, 3, 4? I don't remember. Yeah.
Sister Location was FNAF 5 basically.
Yeah, Sister Location, I remember, because I remember dropping off for FNAF 4, but then coming back for Sister Location, because Sister Location's story,
you know why
like,
it
the
was?
little, like, the stuff at home and
though?
stuff like that in between. Why?
Because you had Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he did like an RPG with like cute little versions of the characters.
Yes!
And everyone kind of went, eh. Some people loved it, and people followed it, and was like, but if it's not your thing, which is not really my thing, I just kind of was like, well, whatever. And then they announced Sister Location, it was like, oh my god, return to form, this is going to be cool. And then
Sister Location's story was incredible.
It was
like,
great.
Really, really,
it was
really
great.
good.
But then they sort of stopped with that, and then it was like the last one they did was Pizzeria Simulator, which wrapped up the story. But that was genius because that was released as a free game that wasn't paid. It was a full game that was hidden behind a really shit
Yeah.
little graphics game.
Yeah,
Which
it's very clever.
Yeah, really cool. I love
That
the
was like
games
what
to play
FNAF
with that.
6, kind of.
Yeah, that's FNAF
Yeah.
6, and then that was that. I count that as Five Nights at Freddy's personally. I'm not a big fan of the whole Help Wanted security. I know Help Wanted's alright, that's the VR one, but the Security Breach one I'm not too keen on personally.
Which one's Security Breach?
It's the PS4 one that wasn't made by Scott. It was a one where you're like running around in it's like a big open world one, and you've got to like do repairs and stuff, and it's very
It's come out recently. Yeah, just last year.
It's not very good.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I should point out I've never played it, so I haven't really got a right to say it's not very good. I've never been appealed by it. The nature of FNAF that I liked was the sort of cameras and quiet atmosphere and being creepy, and that to me was very scary.
Security breaches with like what's the guy called? The elephant and the pig and the frog and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the knockoffs of whatever the story point is. I can't remember.
But there is a story to it, and the story is just very weird and doesn't really make much sense. And there's a thread throughout. I mean, I remember we watched the MatPat video, the big Five Nights at Freddy's.
I watched them
theory,
yesterday as well. Yeah,
and we sat and watched them before we went to see the film, and it was really cool. Like all of it leading up to the security breach stuff was sick. And then as soon as it got to security breach, it's just like, I don't know what's going on anymore. It's too confusing. It doesn't make sense. It's just it's weird from a story perspective. Like as far as like an arc goes, it's difficult because they want to make more games out of it and make a profit off the series and the brand and the name. But realistically, the story did naturally conclude after a Pizzeria Simulator. Yeah,
it's kind of like, it's nice that because the story for Five Nights at Freddy's was originally, it goes in order, or this one's a prequel, this one's that. Yeah. But the actual final theory that MatPat had has the games come at the end, and I quite like that because it still makes a lot of sense. Like, I like that you can see there is blatant evidence of all of these tie-ins from what's like the book lore and stuff like that, whatever you want to call it. And then even the movie then twisted it again and changed it again to kind of what the original theory was. The original story was, because I think the story has definitely changed many times.
As the games go on, it's like whatever's theorized, and then they do this and they do that. It's just whatever keeps it fresh.
Because originally it was like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a prequel, and then it's actually not, and then the Night God's actually this character, but he's actually dead. I can't remember. Is it not? Is it not now that it goes?
I don't know.
Is it not a load of stuff before? Sister location. Is it not sister locations first, and then it's
I
1,
refuse
2, 3.
to turn this. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is right. But I thought it was 2, 1, 3. But we're not going to turn it into that sort of podcast because I have not got a clue, and I have not got the research behind me to sort of back that up. So I'm just kind of nodding along mostly with that's fine.
I think it's something like 4 sister location, 1, 2, 3 maybe. I could be wrong. Could be 2, 1, 3.
I don't know, but again, it's one of those ones where we grew up loving it. I think the nature of why it works so well is because of the frequency they were released.
Yeah,
you had Scott Cawthon, who got a game out that was almost like his last hurrah, did amazingly well, and made another game within a couple months. I genuinely think if FNAF 2 had come out like a year later, the game wouldn't have stood 100%. The test of time. I think the fact that within I want to say within maybe just about a year, maybe just over a year period, 4 games were released.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
It was also the teasers for the later games were quite good as well. I remember him releasing like an article. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I remember him releasing like an article that had like letters that were highlighted and they eventually spelled like Springtrap and stuff like that. Like, and it was such a good. It was very well teased, and the way he did the story and stuff like that. With all the extra stuff, it was very good marketing and very well
to it. Yeah. And the thing is, it's not even like marketing as such as well, because it's
not really. Yeah,
it's just him.
Yeah, literally.
There's no like big team behind it, and that's what the thing I always loved about it is it was one guy who could just do whatever he wanted with it, and I actually really respect that. Honestly, I thought it was just really cool. He'd be able to update an image on his website, and people would be checking every single day to be the first to get the scoop on that. And I think that's brilliant. I think that's really interesting. Yeah. And a really different way of marketing a game, and a game as well that has created such a buzz on being such a low budget like indie horror game.
It pioneered the way for like indie games in general.
Indie horror games have always done well, but this is a one that really has stood the test of time in terms of becoming a franchise beyond itself.
Even just indie games in general, like the amount of times in the last 10 years that indie games have come out of the woodworks and demolished, even at the moment with like stuff like Pal World, like as much as it's controversial and stuff like that, but like indie games, there's indie games that come out and they devour AAA developed games, like
absolutely.
And I think Final Fantasy is one of those. Like the games might be cheesy, they might not be the best things in the world, but a lot of them, like the Final Fantasy games are better than a lot of horror games that come out, like big horror games as well.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know there's many. I mean, I love my horror games, but I think some of the best ones are indie horror games, and I love that you can get, that experience from such a small scale thing, and I think it has this sort of weird charm to it. But I think it's interesting. It's an interesting tale for when an indie game that's probably developed on very little money, very little budget, does really well, and how to handle that. And Scott obviously handled it very well. I wonder how you feel about Slender.
Yeah.
So the Slender, the 8 Pages was an original game, which was
absolutely
chewed up the internet.
I heard that in a while,
Massive, massive game. And it was amazing. I mean, the game itself is a bit naff. Like, you could probably argue the same with the Five Nights at Freddy's games. But
it was the cultural impact that Slender had. It wasn't even the game. It was everybody being God knows what age. Slender Man, like that kind of thing.
Everyone knew what Slender Man was.
It took over the world. Like, it was a bit like the Herobrine thing as well from Minecraft. Kind of like the same kind of thing.
Oh my god, I forgot about Herobrine. Or Herobrine, or however you pronounce it.
Herobrine, whatever you want to pronounce it. But yeah, it was like those indie, not that Minecraft's indie, but...
It was at one point.
It was at the time.
It was at one point. It was a small team,
It's those... It's when a game is almost transcends the game, it becomes cultural, and I think that's what Five Nights at Freddy's did. And I think the movie, still to this day, bearing in mind the production team that did the movie, it's their number one horror movie that they've ever done.
Blumhouse, was it actually their number one?
I think it's their number one now. It's massive. It renewed its budget within like the first week or two. It got back all of the budget that they spent on the movie.
I'd be interested. Let's have a look. The budget of the film... It doesn't tell you what the budget is, does it? That's not helpful. The budget of Five Nights at Freddy's is $20 million.
It was low.
And it earned at the box office...
It was a hell of a lot.
$294.5 million. That is
just
insane.
Shy of 300 million, yeah.
That's more than 10 times the budget, which is, that's incredible. And I'm hoping it means that they'll put a lot more money into.
It just shows what fun. I do hope we get a few. Like, I definitely 2 is the one that I want to see the most. I would love to see all the animatronics and all the. I think
my problem with it is it has a limited longevity, doesn't it? It's got to almost replicate the games to a T, because the Five Nights at Freddy's is like Five Nights at Freddy's 1 has those character designs. The Five Nights at Freddy's 2 film needs to continue from this film, but also have toy animatronics and withered animatronics. Otherwise, people are going to be a bit like, "Oh, that's interesting. Why are you not doing that?" And then Five Nights at Freddy's 3 would need to be in a Fazbear Fright kind of exhibition thing.
Yeah, the issue you're going to have is it's like you can't. I don't really think you can do 4.
You can't do 4.
You could do 4 as part of one of the other movies.
You definitely could include 4.
You could do it as
100%.
You could do it as part of one of the other movies.
Like Nightmare.
You couldn't do it as its own movie.
Yeah.
It's just a location you could do its own movie easily.
Oh yeah, but they're not going to do it.
This location I think would be a good one to do.
But they're not going to do it. Do
you reckon? Do you not reckon?
I think it's a bit far off. I think it's brave. This is my thing, right? And you have to look at it this way. And this is coming from a fan, right? The first film was made on 20 mil, right? Earned almost 300 mil at the box office, which is incredible, right? I think no matter what, the sequel or any sequels of this film aren't making that much.
I don't think so.
No.
But
because there's a cultural thing about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that would get watched by a lot of people who might not usually check that out. Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
But even if you doubled the budget from the first movie, I still think you'd make a very hefty return on investment.
Yeah. Also, bear in mind it went straight onto streaming as well.
Yeah. So if you think if you doubled the budget and had it, which on a 20 mil budget, the first movie was incredible. If you double that, say you have a 50 million budget,
Give it 100
still
mil.
reckon it's
Be
return.
fair. Like, it's...
I don't think you need 100 mil though.
You're getting returns in subscribers for the streaming, and then you're hopefully getting a bigger box office because of the film. If the film is better, I'm hoping they'll take notes. I'm hoping they'll look at the response to the first film, and I want them to make it scarier. I want them to make it.
I don't think you need 100 mil for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
That's true.
I think because it being an indie game, I think if the budget is too high, it's going to lose that indie aspect to it. It's going to start feeling like a massive production, a AAA game, when the lower budget, it's not a low budget at all.
No.
The lower budget still has that indie kind of feel. Like, there was only, 5 main cast members, like, not that much. The animatronics probably took up most of it, building the sets probably took most of it.
It will have done, but that's why it sort of needs a bit more budget.
If you had a 50 mil budget, I think if you over doubled the budget, you would still make return on investment, and probably still, if you did a second one at 50 mil, you could definitely do a third one at 50 mil, because you've only got one animatronic really if you're following the games. And I think the fourth movie should be Sister Location, and I think Five Nights at Freddy's 4 should be within the next movie. It should be Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and 4 should be one movie.
The best thing they could do is raise the stakes on the next one. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 shouldn't just be a recreation of 2. I think it should have a bit of everything in it. It should really, really push the boat out. Start dropping hints to other stuff. Start making the story bigger. I felt the story was very closed off in the original film, which is not a bad thing. It's a film. It has to match a certain audience and the expectations of that audience. But it's... I would love to have seen more from the story perspective of including... Five Nights at Freddy's has such a rich story in the games in terms of theories and stuff like that. I don't think the film opened itself as much up to that, So it's all very conclusive. It adapted things from the games that you remember, and it doesn't really leave you with that many questions. There's a few here and there that I remember talking about after, but I want to see the puppet.
It's trying to with you saying it's very closed off. I will agree that it's very hard to then go, oh, by the way, there's actually another restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy who's a mass murderer who is now dead.
Yeah.
In quotation marks, that he just had, and I don't see there being a reason why whatever the main character's called, Mike, is it? Yeah, Mike.
I think we'll have to.
I don't see a reason for him to go and be a night guard at another location.
The second film would have to start realistically with them boarding up and closing down that restaurant as is.
Yeah,
it would have to start with that, because it has to start with him being locked up in that establishment and it being in a proper abandoned building.
Yeah,
he was the owner of it, so he's the sort of one who's been hiring people to look after it. The animatronics will probably get dismantled and taken apart, maybe somewhere else, or maybe they'll just be left there. I don't know. But I like the idea that they're moved to a different facility. Maybe they are damaged, and they're sort of. Maybe that's maybe that has to be the second film. That maybe it is they're very much taking inspiration from FNAF 2, but making it a different story. Where it's like they board that one up, they open up a new restaurant, and what they do is they rip apart the old animatronics and use their parts to build the toy animatronics, the new ones, and then go from there. And then you've got the withered. Then you're automatically creating withered animatronics, and you've got toy ones, and then you're sort of doing a whole new thing. And maybe it's Mike's job then to sort of be like...
Either that or it's like it's a few years afterwards.
Yeah, it should be.
So it's like...
should be a bit of time, yeah.
If it's like, say,
shouldn't be. I'm not saying it should be the week after.
No, like the second movie should start with the establishment being boarded up. It's almost like a 3-year jump, so within the next 3 years another franchise is opened, maybe with this other guy, I can't remember his name, from the books and stuff, who was like the co-owner in the books. He's bought, you know how William in the books he buys... Henry. Yeah. Henry buys William out of bankruptcy and they own the franchise together. Maybe it's something like that where Henry opens another one and Mike comes back in to be the night guard or whatever, or however they're gonna do it.
Something.
I think it could almost be like a Spider-Man situation where the first movie feels kind of a bit isolated. It could stand on its own, and then the rest of the movies are more integrated, if that makes sense.
Which Spider-Man?
I'm saying Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay, good, good point.
Into the Spider-Verse is kind of... you could watch Into the Spider-Verse on its own, and it's a standalone movie. It doesn't really... It connects, obviously, to the other ones, but Across the Spider-Verse, you kind of need the final movie for it to make the most sense.
I think that's what they should do with this. Easy. That's the modern formula, is to make a trilogy out of it. It's like the first film worked, it did really well. Make a second film and leave the ending open-ended. Mm-hmm. Leave it to be continued.
Yeah. Because then obviously the third one would be them reopening the original franchise, finding the Springtrap suit.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it's called, Fazbear's Fright.
And then you can have Mike falling asleep again and dreaming about, like...
Yeah, the nightmares
the original diner and stuff, and the Bite of 87!
Is that the Bite of 87?
Oh, God. We're going into it.
Yeah.
Hello, shit the Freddy Fazbear.
I also think that has paved Five Nights at Freddy's way, especially in the recent years. The amount of memes.
Oh man, there's a photo of me somewhere with one of those Freddy Fazbear bins. We saw one. Me and my girlfriend. When we went to Kent. We saw a one on the seaside. A little Five Nights at Freddy. Not Five Nights at Freddy's. A little Freddy Fazbear bear bin.
Guys,
with a box of chips just rammed in its mouth. I don't even know where that came from, that meme, but it brilliant either way. Meme. This is a great meme.
The best one is the kid. Guys, is that Freddy?
I think the Polish one's better, you know.
The first one is very good. They're both very good. I prefer the. To be fair, I've seen the kid one more than the Polish one.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough then. Yeah.
But then Jack Black takes the cake for all.
Okay. Yeah. Jack Black's involvement with Five Nights at Freddy's has been a really strange one, hasn't it? Like, he's always been involved with it, but not actually been officially involved.
He'll be the next cameo. How Matt Pat was the cameo in this one.
It's got to be Markiplier. Has to be in the second one.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. Will Jack Black cameo? That's the other thing as well. Isn't Jack Black playing a character in the Minecraft movie?
Yeah, he's playing Steve.
Oh, what?
I think so.
Is he?
I'm sure he's playing Steve. Yeah, I'm sure he's playing Minecraft. Steve.
I mean, that's brilliant casting.
I completely forgot. Yeah, because they're doing a live action.
A live action.
It's live action. Yeah,
oh,
live action Minecraft movie.
This is going to be the best film I've ever seen in my life. What do you mean live action Minecraft film?
The Minecraft movie Steve will be played by Jack Black, according to a new report. Yeah.
It was originally going to be Jason Momoa.
That'd be quite a good casting.
I prefer Jack Black.
I prefer Jack Black. It's live action though. I'm certain it is.
That's another film. Again, the Minecraft movie and the Five Nights at Freddy's movie are the two that I remember from being a kid that like never happened, and now they're both happening. Well, Five Nights at Freddy's happened, and then now you've got Minecraft the movie, and Jack Black's playing Steve.
They're also apparently doing a Legend of Zelda one as well.
Oh, of course.
I think it'd be interesting.
That's obviously after Mario. The interesting thing to me is that the Minecraft movie is live action.
Yeah.
How the frig does that work?
I have no idea.
What is this even?
No idea.
Who's in the cast so far? Jack Black as Steve. Jason Momoa. Matt Berry? No. Oh, man. That's not true, surely. Matt Berry, Minecraft.
Oh, my God.
Matt Berry in talks to join Jason Momoa in Warner Brothers' Minecraft film. That would be amazing. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, because I assume they're gonna have Steve. I can't remember what the female skin's called. I'm so sorry.
Alex. Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Minecraft is an upcoming American adventure film based on the video game of the same name by Mojang Studios, produced by Legendary Pictures, Mojang, and Vertigo Entertainment, and distributed by Warner Brothers. Release date the 4th of April 2025. Director Jared Hess. Distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures.
Oh, apparently Rob McElhenney was supposed to be the original director
I guess it's,
of this film.
Yeah.
This just gets weirder and weirder and weirder.
It's just with all, like, they're doing so many video game movies. Like,
I kind of like
Sonic
it.
Movies,
It kind of goes hard. I'm not being
Mario,
funny,
Borderlands movie, live action Borderlands movie.
Kind of.
Forgot about that.
Kind of goes soft.
That's supposed to be this year. But there's loads. They're doing so many now.
Jared Hess. I don't know who this is.
I don't know either.
There's a lot of interesting films. There's just like a lot of names thrown about for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating, isn't it? We're in the world of video game adaptations now that are actually not bad.
They're actually.
I've still never seen the Super Mario Brothers movie. You know.
Wait, what?
No, I've never seen it.
The new animated one.
The new animated one. I've seen the old one.
It's absolutely incredible.
Is it?
Like, that's not even a meme.
I just heard mixed things about it.
Unbelievable.
And I thought,
It's fantastic.
I need to watch it maybe.
Yeah, it's unreal. It's such a good movie. I fully enjoyed it when I watched it.
Oh man, I maybe need to watch that then. Shit, I sort of
And
missed
it's
out
Jack
on
Black
that.
as
I know
Bowser.
he's great, yeah, but I saw Chris Pratt as Mario as well, isn't it?
Honestly,
It's a me Mario.
it's a Mia Mario. It's when you watch it, it's not actually like. I was like,
Okay.
yeah. Do you know what? It was no, but it's not as good as the original.
But I'll give credit for this.
It's
'Cause I've
never
seen
gonna be
this.
the same.
I've seen clips of him. You can't do a Mario film, right? Look, Super Mario is not a character that talks very often, right? There is a good reason for that, because when he does talk, he's like, whoa, ah. Like, you could not do that for an hour and a half. It would be so frustrating.
Yeah.
But then the alternative is you go the Super Mario Brothers cartoon, and you end up it being like Brooklyn, kind of like, yo, Luigi, how we doing? Which could also work, but they didn't do that. It was just kind of Chris Pratt doing a slight voice.
It's kind of like when it first got announced, everyone was like, and I was like, oh.
All the other castings, I was like, spot on. Jack Black as Bowser, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi is brilliant casting.
Was it Michael Keegan? Michael
Key.
I can't remember what his name is. Keegan.
It's those
Keegan
three
Michael.
words in a certain order.
Keegan Michael Key.
That's it. Yeah, he played Toad, right?
Yes, and that's unbelievable casting as well.
He's good as he. Right. Okay.
But I think when I watched it, I was like, and I got to the end of it, I was like, it's not the original Mario by any means, but it works for what it is.
You can't do that though in a film. That's my point. Is
Yeah.
I don't think you could do the original Mario.
The animation is incredible, and the music is incredible. The remixes and stuff that they do
I've heard
for the
music.
original themes.
Don't get me wrong, I've heard the music. But then
It's great when it like starts to happen, and then you're listening, and then you go, "Oh my god!" And then you clock on and realize what music it is.
Yeah,
that was my favorite thing.
I heard they'd removed music from the film and replaced them with songs, though.
I don't remember. It's been
because there was a song. This is the thing. I saw
it.
complaints about the soundtrack initially because the soundtrack released and it was brilliant. But a lot of people were going, "This wasn't in the film," and I know what scene this was going to play over. And my god, it's better. There's a remix of the Donkey Kong Country theme, which is called "Driving Me Bananas" from the Mario Brothers film soundtrack. Apparently, that's not in the original film and was replaced by another song.
Maybe not. It might not be.
But it's a great track, which is a great remix.
Yeah, the remixes are really good. Even the ones they use in the they actually decide to use in the movie is very good. And I hope that they do another one and but they actually just go fully into the music.
What have they got in the songs? I'm trying to work out what songs were in this film that were.
To be fair, I watched it when it first came out. When did it come out?
Oh, okay. Additional music. You've got Battle Without Honor and Humanity. That's an old one.
Yeah, it's been.
No Sleep Till Brooklyn, the Beastie Boys. Habanera, George Bizet. Attack Fury, that's not right. Holding Out for a Hero, Bonnie Tyler. Take On Me, Aha.
Yes.
Thunderstruck, AC/DC. Mr. Blue Sky, Electric Light Orchestra. It just feels very, very by numbers, like
I 100%
licensed music for a Mario film when they've got a really good composer there for the soundtrack. But I get
the ones that they did use, and I think if they are to do another one, they should take away that they should.
They're
use
doing
the
another one,
original
aren't
music. I just, you know what? Making a 1.36 billion in box office, I'd assume they would do another one.
Sorry,
yeah.
1.3...
Box office 1.36 billion USD.
Oh, Jesus.
And its budget was 100 million.
Wow. That's incredible, actually.
And so I'd assume they would make another one.
Wow.
I just don't know what they would do. They would be the exact same story. I don't know what I'm talking about. Actually, to be fair, it probably wouldn't. Because they changed the original Mario story quite heavily. Not heavily. It makes sense. But
it's not really much of an original Mario story, is there? That's the thing.
Well, the original Mario story is Peach gets captured by Bowser, Mario goes and saves. Whereas this one, it's Bowser is attacking and trying to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom because Peach won't go out with him.
Right.
But Peach isn't. I'm going to say I'm going to say useless, but I don't mean it in that sense. Whereas in all the games, Peach gets captured and she doesn't do anything. She's just at the top of a tower. It changes that and takes and makes, like, empowers Peach and makes her, like, an actual good character. And she actually gets involved and uses the power-ups and stuff like that and takes on, like, the jumping courses and stuff like that from the games.
Oh,
so
right, okay. So she's not just a damsel in distress then?
No, they get completely remove the damsel in distress from... She's still, like, Princess Peach, like, of the Mushroom Kingdom and stuff like that. But they remove like I'm obsessed with Mario. I need Mario, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They actually empower her and make her a very good character.
Makes more sense to do that though.
Yeah. 100%. Makes so much sense.
I think it feels.
And there's Mario Kart, so
it weirdly feels like an adaptation almost of like that cartoon show that I was telling you about.
Yeah, that we were talking about. Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of that in the sense of where it's like. The idea is that it's very much two brothers from like Brooklyn who have went through a magic portal and are now in the Mushroom Kingdom and
that's what it is
and stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what it is. That element.
That's
of the story
exactly what it is.
Feels like it's lifted straight from that cartoon, which I grew up loving. The
start of the movie is them literally just living their mundane lives, and they find the tunnel, like the pipe, and go in, and they discover the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah,
discover Bowser and all that stuff. The ending of the movie, the post-credit scene, which I thought was very cool, is. It shows like after everything's happened, deep underground in like New York City or whatever it is, there's the Yoshi egg is there.
Oh,
and it, like you hear like the Yoshi noise, and then it cuts to black, and I was like, yeah, that's very because that's the one thing they didn't do was Yoshi, and I.
They keep it out on purpose, don't they, though? It's like that.
Yeah, the main characters.
And they're making Sonic 3.
Sonic 3. I need to catch up with the Sonic movies because
I've not seen any of them.
I was not aware there was a Sonic 2 movie, and I was not aware that Tails. I was not aware that Tails was in the Sonic 2 movie, and I loved Tails as a kid.
Tails and Knuckles.
I didn't know. This completely missed my radar. This completely missed my radar somehow. I remember the original one coming out. I don't remember the second one at all. The new one they're doing Shadow, which is just sick. It's like just sick as hell.
I just never really liked Sonic that much. So I feel like I can't really get into it as much. But
I played so many of the Sonic games as a kid. It's really weird. Yeah, like because so many came out on Nintendo Wii that I played loads of them.
For me, it's that whole thing of like I was a Crash kid, I was a Mario kid. That was probably about it for me. Yeah. I never did like Rayman. I never did Sonic, anything like that. Ratchet and Clank.
Like Sonic Chronicles, I played as a kid. Like Mario and Sonic Olympics.
Oh, Mario and Sonic Olympics, fair enough, yeah.
Sonic and the Black Knight, Sonic and the Secret Rings, like these kind of games on the Nintendo Wii.
Are these all age appropriate? Sonic and the Secret Rings.
I think so. Yeah, it's it looks I think so. Yeah, so it was a Nintendo. Well, I played it. It's from 2007, so. Got a 6.9 out of 10.
For the benefit of the audience, I'm assuming that the joke went over Cooper's head there, but that's all right.
Bro, it was a good game. What can I say? And Sonic and the Black Knight.
I was just making the joke that it's Sonic and the Secret Rings.
I genuinely have no idea what joke you're trying to make.
I'll tell you after.
Okay. Sonic Chronicles as well. The Dog Brotherhood. That was a good game. Yeah, so I remember because then like Tails and Knuckles, and even the Mario and Sonic Olympics. Tails was the GOAT in those games, and the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, I remember playing the Olympic games. Yeah,
I need to play Sonic games again. Oh my god, there's so many good games.
I don't really care for them, especially the newer ones. I've just not really got much of an interest for. But yeah, I feel like we've covered a lot today talking about. I mean, obviously the initial idea was Five Nights at Freddy's, and now we've sort of ventured over to video game movies, video game culture in general now. We've covered a lot. That's good. I'm proud of us. We've covered a lot today, and I'm happy with that. And there's a lot more video game stuff where that came from because there's stuff that we haven't even remotely touched on today that I want to definitely talk about in the future. Like I'm getting back into the Batman Arkham games. Like
so got to talk about Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate's mine.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
Got to talk about Baldur's Gate at some point. Game of the year, man. Come on. I think we'll have to do like your top 5 games.
We should
of all
do
time.
that. We should do that at some point. Definitely, yeah.
It'd be hot. I think I could do it. I probably do more confidently than the Star Wars one, without a doubt.
Do you reckon?
Easily.
I'd really struggle with that one, the gaming one.
Top 3 I could do easily. Top 4 I could do easily.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah, I could probably.
I'd have to
very
have a think.
comfortably-
I'd have to have a think beforehand and do it. But yeah.
Top 5, top 3 or 4 I could do easily without a doubt. So yeah, but
enough.
I think it's time for
I think it is.
some just news.
It's just news. It's just
We need like
news.
a little dun-dun-dun-dun.
We do need a little jingle, actually.
Yeah.
That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Dun-dun-dun. Yeah.
So like,
I have-
just news.
Yeah. So I was responsible for finding the just news story this week.
I'm excited. Your last one was
George-
an absolute corker.
It was an absolute corker. Rip Ken Allen.
Oh no,
my
that wasn't.
boy.
Oh god, I shouldn't say that because that actually isn't the last one that people are hearing.
That's true, actually.
This is
That
episode 6,
true.
isn't it? Shit, we're not.
Yeah, this is episode 6.
We record in order. We promise.
I'm 2 for 2. What can I say? I just know. But George, my question to you this week is: what is your greatest fear?
Oh, my greatest fear.
What is your greatest fear?
Oh, but like just generally, I think like
Just generally.
I think there's 2. I think heights are up there. I think I'm quite claustrophobic as well.
Quite claustrophobic. Maybe, do you know what? You could class this as claustrophobic. Do you know what my greatest fear is?
Go on.
Getting locked in a mall after everyone's left. That's my greatest fear.
That's not
And
your
this
greatest
man-
fear.
This man in Japan, this man experienced it. Oh man, I'm locked in. Man pleads for help on Twitter after falling asleep in a shop massage chair. Manager apologizes for staff's failure to notice man was still enjoying the mechanical back rub when locking up. This is from the 21st of Sunday, the 21st of August, 2016, at 22 minutes past 1 British Standard Time.
Oh my god.
A man was forced to tweet for help when he got locked in a department store after falling asleep on a massage chair. The man awoke to a deserted shop floor after dozing off in an electronics store in Japan. Identified only by his Twitter handle at Asfidelis _Asfidelis. The sleepy customer was forced to tweet his plight when he discovered he was locked inside the shop. Posting various photos of a dark and empty interior, he captioned the photo, "Oh man, I'm locked in." In the photos, the shutters are in the front.
They've attached the photos as well.
Yeah. In the photos, the shutters are in the front of the shop, named K's, are clearly shut. This is in Japan. I'm not sure whereabouts, but
yeah.
It is thought the man triggered an alarm which notified the police, who managed to get in touch with the shop's manager. After 10 police officers searched him to confirm he was not a shoplifter, he tweeted that he had finally managed to get out. The manager apologised to the man for the staff's failure to notice he was still in the chair when locking up. The man also said sorry, although it was unclear how long he'd nodded off for. His original post has since been retweeted 39,000 times. In response, one user at Sasurga_23 simply said, "How did this happen?" Yondor replied, It is valuable experience." Others commented it was their childhood dream to be locked inside a department store, while others likened the man's predicament to popular escape the room style games.
I'm sorry, that's a win. I think that man's had a great experience. Are you telling me? I'm more baffled that you said your greatest fear is. Are you just saying
My greatest
that?
fear is spiders. I'm just saying it for the
Right, I see.
I've got to segue into it. I can't just start it.
No, you can.
It's like, you know, the Taylor Swift start. Have you seen the Taylor Swift how she starts the song? She's like,
Oh god,
like, you know,
I've seen that. Yeah.
when you hate someone, you sometimes have bad blood. That's what I was going for. I also went
sick.
through the post as well and looked at the translated all the tweets and was like reading what he was saying.
That's very good. That's great.
Because it's all in Japanese. So, but like loads of people were commenting, asking him questions and stuff.
Oh my god. Any good ones? Any good questions?
There was a guy that was like, "How did that manage to happen?" And the guy just responded, "I am out now."
Gotta love
this
that.
one here?
Gotta love that. I think that's amazing. I don't think that's that bad at all. I think that man would be. I mean, it's kind of creepy, I guess.
Yeah. Someone commented, "Excuse me," from RT, but there is an entrance for employees only, so why not try looking for that there? Maybe they are processing things behind the scenes after closing. And the guy who got stuck replied, going, "I managed to get out thanks to the store manager and the police." So
He's just ignoring all of them, isn't he? He doesn't give a shit.
yeah. But yeah, it's cool. It would be cool to be locked inside.
Oh dear.
I was just memeing at the start.
That's
would be,
good.
I think
Your
it'd be quite
greatest
cool.
fear is actually spiders, isn't it? Which I know that. I know
can't stand them. I can't stand them. They're one of my
get him.
biggest things ever.
We'll get him.
Someone
one day.
said it looks like a ghost.
What looks like a ghost?
You have got me one day. You got me at Confido when you chucked a spider in my tent.
Did I?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that one, did
That's
you?
bad.
God. Likely to forget, are we? No, but yeah, that's my just news.
Oh,
Don't go getting yourselves.
It's your advice for the week is don't go.
My advice for a week is don't fall asleep in electronic massage chairs.
How did that happen though? How did they let him?
I have
the
no
pictures
idea.
that they provide in the article, I'll just describe it for people who are sort of listening. Obviously, because you're not seeing this. I mean, the article should be linked in the description of this podcast. You can actually have a look at it yourself. But
if you just Google, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah, the photos that they've used is, I mean, maybe it's not from the same department store, but it's quite obvious, I'd say, of these men who are just asleep in chairs. Like, it can't be that discreet. So I don't know how they managed to seal up around it. It's very strange. I'm not sure.
It's a very strange situation.
But
I mean, it must have been a bloody good massage chair, I'll tell you that much. But then I think Japanese massage chairs are they're probably revolutionary, so Japanese technology is built different. But yeah, that's my just news.
Must be. If you're falling asleep in a mall, just sort of off the bat, then...
I'd love to know how long you was asleep for. I'd love to know.
To be fair, though, have you never had that when you're just like really knackered one day and you're just in public and just like, I could just fall asleep? Like every time I get my hair cut at the minute, because I'm so exhausted at work, I just start shutting off and I have to stop myself from falling asleep.
It must be like... Because my imagination was like, oh, maybe he was there with his wife. Like, my first thought was like, oh, he must be there with his wife. And he's gone in the massage chair. But then I'm like, well, no, because his wife would know if he's stuck there. So he's gone to an electronics store and gone, oh, do you know what? I'll have a go in this massage chair. But then I think it's very Japanese to maybe go and have a massage in a massage chair after work. Because I know it's very...
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cultural. And
I don't know.
It's very intense working conditions, so...
I don't mind a massage chair when I come home. I probably would fall asleep, to be fair. Just have to work.
Yeah, true.
Oh, what a great Just News story.
I know.
That is too... Well, it could be 3 for 3. Depends on what the one in the middle is that we haven't recorded yet.
I know for a fact it's 3 for 3.
Thank you for watching, guys. What's next week, Cooper? Oh.
What is next week? Oh, Westworld next week. This is going to be an interesting one.
I'm excited for that one.
I've made some statements on Twitter that I currently can't back up.
I introduced Cooper to Westworld, and
you did.
I quite enjoy
on
Westworld.
2 different occasions.
It's now been cancelled, but
I enjoy Westworld. Hey, I never said I didn't enjoy Westworld. I did enjoy Westworld.
The bits of it that you've watched.
The most of it. I've watched 3/4 of it, actually. Hey, I've watched 3/4. It's a lot.
Let's save it
for next.
Let's save it for next.
Let's save it for next week. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening to us waffle about Five Nights at Freddy Fazbear's. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next Thursday or next week for the Westworld episode.
Oh,
make sure you follow us on Twitter at NostalgiaBait. What was
NostalgiaBait?
NostalgiaBait Pod.
Yeah, don't get the
just NostalgiaBait or just NostalgiaBait
Pod.
NostalgiaBait Pod. So follow us on Twitter.
I tell you what, the link again is in the description.
The link
of this
will be
episode,
there.
So you can follow it there.
Make sure you're following the podcast and make sure you leave a nice 5-star review and tell us how much you like Freddy Fazbear. And yeah, that's going to be everything. Follow us as well.
I love the effort, to be honest. I do respect it.
Hey,
follow. Give us 5 stars and tell us how much you like Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah, whoa, hey. I think it's
better than what I did. It's better than what I did.
Hey, you've the podcast that we've recorded. I've not heard one proper outro from you.
No, you haven't.
Go to Twitter. I'm getting Twitter engagement. I'm getting the star reviews.
Cutting the black.
Hey, someone's got to put the effort in. Yeah, so that's going to be us from Nostalgia Bait. Follow us on Twitter. 5-star review. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, personals. Love you all, and we will see you next week for Westworld.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.